And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 69. I am your host, Avanties, and as always, I am joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? It has been a great week.
And we're joined by a very special guest. Some of you may know him as the target dummy on Victor Sanctum. He is also Finja's biggest fan, Mattatarms. What is up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? Good to pinch hit for you guys. And sorry, Rasika's not here, but I guess I'll try to fill those boots when I can.
Yeah, we have Rasika in our chat. He unfortunately had a bit of an emergency he had to take care of, so he was not going to be available. So we are very thankful to have you fill in. We've got a great show, a lot to talk about. A lot has happened since we recorded our last episode last Wednesday night. But before we jump into that, Zerotio, since Rasika's not here tonight, we're going to let you do the honors. Tell us a little bit about our friends at Viforce.
And I'll tell you this, if Rasika was here, I would demand to do it anyways because I was able to pick up my wife's Viforce computer today. I met up with the guys. They insisted on delivering it, so I met them up here in town. Picked it up 10 o'clock this morning, got it home. I was like, okay, I'm going to have time to set up. You know, you get a new computer, so you got to set up Windows, you got to get all the settings, put in your network settings, all this stuff. Pop that baby up, plugged it in, turned it on. They had already configured everything for my wife. Had her backdrop set up for a nice, gorgeous Viforce logo. They had already configured Windows. All I had to do is make sure to put in my network settings, and boom, I could start installing software. So we did that today. Went, got some lunch, came back. That thing already had World of Warcraft, Diablo, and Heroes of the Storm all downloaded. And I was expecting like a normal new computer, all the configuring. It's going to take a day, maybe a day and a half till we get it to a point she's using it. I picked up at 10 this morning. It's currently 7:30. She's currently on WoW right now doing what looks to be mythic dungeons. She's already been playing Minecraft on it all day long. She loves it. It's been a great experience. It really didn't cost us that much money. You definitely should check them out at viforcegaming.com, or you can go over to heropowerhs.com, click on the Viforce link, and they'll get you set up. I'll tell you more details about it in the second half of the show.
Awesome. All right. Well, we don't have any emails or iTunes reviews this week, so Zerotio's starting to get hungry. He may have to eat his beard.
Right.
I'm going to give you all the spiel. We love to hear from you. So if you've got something you want to ask, or you have a question about Hearthstone or the show, shoot us an email at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com, and we'd love to hear from you, and we'll get back to you on the show.
Or if you just want to make fun of Avanti's face.
That works too.
That's fine.
Yeah, that works too. All right, so we have a lot to talk about, as I alluded to previously. The day after we recorded our last show, Blizzard decided they were going to drop the Year of the Mammoth on us.
Oh, it was a mammoth announcement.
It really was. And we knew something big was coming. There was a leak from a Chinese website that said, big announcement today. We didn't know what. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get basically the roadmap to 2017. So
Yeah.
So let's dig into this a little bit and see what we can take out of it. First of all, we know that when the first expansion drops, Blackrock Mountain, the Grand Tournament, and League of Explorers become wild.
Yep.
But
we knew that.
Yeah, but that's not all. We're also found out that they are introducing the Hall of Fame. So what this means is that some classic cards will now be considered wild and can't be played in standard. Okay, we've seen this before. Old Murloc got rotated out. ETC got rotated out.
Captain's Parrot.
But now, wait, what?
Yeah, Captain Spirit
Oh,
was part of
okay.
that list.
Was it? I don't remember
Yeah.
that one.
It'd be too strong for this meta.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank God Captain Spirit is not
Damn
in standard.
pirate. All right. Anyway, they did announce 6 new cards will be added to that list of cards that are no longer available in standard. Those cards are, and we'll talk about them. You guys want to talk about them as we go, or wait until they're all read and then talk about them?
Let's do them as we go.
All right.
Yeah.
First up, no more Azure Drake. Zerotio, go.
Brian Kibler did a piece on this where they expected him to be really sad, and he admitted, yes, he is sad, but this is the top neutral card to him that needs to be, because it's basically an all-in-one. It has card draw, it has some kind of powerful effect in the form of spell damage in this one, and it is a tribal card being dragon for a good mana cost. I think it's a good one to rotate out. It's in just about every deck, whether you play Pirates, Control, Aggro. It doesn't matter. It's in there.
Yeah. Mattatarms, thoughts on Azure Drake?
I'm glad to see it go. It's everywhere, like Zerotio said. And the thing is, at the 5-drop spot, there isn't a whole lot that competes with it as well. Like, you got your legendaries like Finja and Leroy Jenkins, but like for like your neutral rare or lower cards, there's nothing there. Like now a card like Burgley Bully has a chance to come in and actually be a staple as well, which is a fantastic card.
I'd like to clarify, there are plenty of strong cards in the 5-mana slot. There just aren't any that compete with Azure Drake. So
Agreed.
You're still going to be able to find some good cards to put in that spot.
It's a level above everything else in that 5-drop range.
And that's why a card like Burgley Bully will actually get a major shift in this, because it's a 4/6 for 5, and it fits right in, and it could get you a coin or 2 or 3.
Right.
It's so it has a chance to shine now. So
Exactly. Before I miss it, I want to say thank you to Dano Play for the follow. So while we're seeing this card move out, that's not a bad thing. The next card on the list that they announced is Sylvanas Windrunner. Now, Sylvanas has been a staple legendary since the game launched back in 2014. You know, when people ask, I'm new to the game, what's the first legendary I should craft? A lot of times people say, you need to look at Sylvanas.
Oh, yeah.
Now that she's going to be gone, what are your thoughts on that? Matt, we'll start with you.
Well, yeah, the fact that Sylvanas is been in the meta ever since the game is started, and she used to be 5 mana, and they nerfed her to 6. And instead of nerfing her into the ground to be 8 or 7 or lower her stats, they decided, you know what, I'd rather keep the card intact as it is. And I love that fact. But, it's only in Wild, but it's still a very playable card in Wild, and it's a great card in Wild.
Exactly. Zerotio?
It's not so much the loss of Sylvanas that I'm excited about. It's what they said about the loss of Sylvanas. The reason they're pulling Sylvanas is not necessarily because of her power level or how she impacts the game. She's really only in control decks. The important part is it is allowing them to widen their capabilities of working with Death Rattles. So you're probably going to see a lot of Death Rattle synergy, not necessarily Death Rattle cards, but cards that synergize with Death Rattle more, kind of like you did maybe in Naxxramas. And they kind of had to hold the leash back on that in previous sets because Sylvanas would be too tough if they did things. One thing I'd love to see, and I hope they do, are more board affecting mechanics. Maybe a spell or effect that randomly swaps one of your minions and one of theirs. Problem is, if you did that with Sylvanas on the board, that person might actually get 2. You swap their Sylvanas with one of your minions, kill their Sylvanas to get your minion back, and now you've basically just turned the tide way too much for it to be something that that they want to have happen. So you pull Sylvanas out, and you can do more effects like that mess with the board more.
Yeah, and I don't know. I've always been a big fan of this card. I feel like, you know, one of the you know, skill level plays with her is playing her and removing her yourself to be able to take, you know, from your opponent. And it's just, now that she's going to be gone, you know, you're still going to have some awesome techs that you can make. It basically, it's going to open up another spot at the 6th slot for you to get creative. And that's the thing I think Blizzard is most intent about, is that it was a staple, and that's why they're making these changes. They want these cards to not be in those decks, and they want people to get creative. They want people to be inventive. They want people to come up with new ideas, and this really is going to help to push that.
And a lot of people have talked about how N'Zoth control decks are kind of really suffering with this removal, but because of all the new additions from Mean Streets, the N'Zoth decks have had to cut down their death rattles, and they cut out a key, to me, one of the most important death rattles out of their deck, which was Cairn. And now that Sylvanas is gone, Cairn can step back in there and really nets the same amount.
So Boyd in our chat asks, how do you think Sylvanas's departure will affect control decks?
That's kind of a tough question, mainly because, and I'm a big control player, but the main reason is because they're taking Sylvanas out of standard, specifically because they're going to be bringing things in the new set, which we are speculating is Lost Secrets of Angoro. So without knowing what's coming in, I can't really answer that straight. Now, if you're talking about just her leaving it and what we currently have, I think there are 6 slots that can do well. Like Cairn does a similar effect where it's a big body on the board for 6 mana that when it goes, you get another sizable body. Well, with Sylvanas, it goes, you get one of your opponent's bodies. So you get about the same card value out of it. So I think teching in Cairn in place of Sylvanas will be just as good.
Matt, do you have any thoughts?
I can kind of agree with you there, but the fact that like Sylvanas' effect is so unique, it makes it hard. And like especially like in a priest deck, like they even mention itself, like a card like Mind Control will never see play as long as Sylvanas exists.
Yep.
You know, the fact that a Warlock can do it for 7 mana, why would a priest do it for 10?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that yeah, like they're like when this card goes to wild, we'll have new control tools and we'll have new 6-drops and new cards that would fit into that slot as well. So it's really hard to figure out what they want to do, and especially with a lot of the other really good 6-drops rotating out with it as well, like Emperor Thorsen and whoever else, and Justicar and whatever else is at the 6th slot that I can't think of at the top of my head. It's going to be really interesting to see what they replace, what fills her shoes, which are huge.
Versika in chat says he thinks it'll speed up round 7 and 8, but otherwise he thinks everything will be fine. So, and I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
So. All right, the other big card that is leaving is our good friend, and I don't know how we're going to actually live day to day knowing his warm embrace is no longer there. We are losing Ragnaros the Fire Lord. This hurts me deeply. He was actually my first legendary, and so now I'm just like, oh, he's so much fun. You know, all the game I can't even count all the games I've just went YOLO Rag and threw him down for a win, but now I don't have that option. But that's okay.
You do it wild.
I do in wild, and that's the key. So, Zerotio, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on No More Ragnaros?
Ragnaros was my very first legendary that I crafted. I love the card. I think for 8 mana in a good control deck where you're managing the board, setting something up on turn 7 that ensures a Doomguard pop so your opponent doesn't put anything down, there's nothing on the board. It's a guaranteed 8 points of damage and a huge body they have to deal with. A lot of control decks. I think this is going to affect control decks more than Sylvanas. I'm hoping they put something in its place I'd love it if Major Domo was still going to be in the standard meta, so we could have that effect still. But he'll also be too soon to Executus. He'll also be rotating out, so we're not going to have any Ragnaros the Fire Lords in the meta at all. We'll still have the Light Lord, who is amazing, by the way.
Yeah. All right. Versika says Rag leaving is probably a bigger deal for control decks than Sylvanas.
Yeah,
Mattatarms,
I agree.
What are your thoughts?
Once again, I'm going with the nerf thing where they could have nerfed Ragnaros to 10 mana, and you know what? He still probably would see play still at 10 mana.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's at 8 mana, and the fact that there's no, like, if you look at the 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana slots, is there any other legendary that's as good as Ragnaros? Honestly, any other big drop?
That 7 to 9, definitely not. There could be some argument
not
for
in
8.
standard. Not in standard. The only one I can think of is Dr. Boom from Wild.
Yeah, but the fact that they're taking away the big guy, and the fact that Major Domo is dragging him to Wild with him is kind of funny.
Yeah,
But I love the fact that they're getting rid of this card. They're putting this card in Wild, and the other interesting thing I kind of noticed with these two cards in particular is a lot of the quote unquote high roll RNG in competitive is rotating out with those two cards.
Yeah, that's correct.
Like the fact that you can't YOLO Rag for a win at BlizzCon anymore.
Yeah, and Dano in chat says, Rag outshined almost all of the class legendary cards as a finisher. So this allows you to explore other options.
Yeah, back when I played a ton of Tempo Mage, that's what I chop out my list with. So it wasn't Archmage Antonidas, it was Ragnaros.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gromash. If you don't have Gromash, fine, throw in Ragnaros.
If you just compare him to the neutral legendaries, they're really, unless it was a combo-centric deck that needed something like a Malagos, you really didn't see anybody else. They'd say, hey, we need something from 7 to 9, Ragnaros every time. And there are a lot of really good legendaries in that area. And they have the same if not better power. I think even some of the 10 slot legendaries like Deathwing to me has a very impactful effect, and he's always sat back seat to Rag because Rag doesn't have a downside and keep slamming face to 8 if he wants to.
Well, even if you look at GVG, like a card like the Foe Reaper 4000, which is a phenomenal 8 drop at 6/9, never saw play because of Ragnaros. And
in a lot of cases, it was 18 points of damage.
Exactly. The only time Ragnaros was bad was back in right after BRM when the Zoo meta was crazy.
I only wish Nefarian was staying in the meta. The fact that he's going with Rag, because when I saw this, I was like, wow, I'll put Nefarian instead. And then I realized, well, he's BRM, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's Blackheart.
So he's rotating out too. So I'm gonna have to dig and find out what's good. I know I'm a huge Nosdormu fan. Huge Nosdormu. Got my Nosdormu glass here.
Yeah.
So I would love to find a slot for Nosdormu because I think it's a very unique effect. I'm really excited to see what can be put in its place.
The other interesting thing to note with this removal as well, there's only one Elemental Lord left in Standard.
Alakir.
The Light Lord?
Yeah.
The original. Yeah.
So then he's the one that survived rotations. That's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alakir's a good one. He came to my aid this weekend. I beat somebody when I evolved into an Alakir. I can't remember who it was. Was it you, Avanties? Was it you that I evolved into Alakir?
Yes, you evolved into Alakir. I'll never hear the end of this now.
No, you never will.
But no, Alakir is a good one to still have around. And he's an 8 mana, but he is a shaman only. So when you look at neutral legendaries, there's not a lot in that 8 mana slot. And that's going to kind of give Blizzard the chance to play around with that and develop something, good going forward to fill that hole that Ragnaros is leaving.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right. Next on the list of cards leaving the standard is Power Overwhelming. Now, this card has always been extremely mana efficient. Whether you're doing burst damage or you're making a mana efficient minion trade.
Mm-hmm.
This has also always been a Warlock staple. Now that it's gone, how do you think this is going to affect Warlocks going forward? Mattatarms, we'll start with you.
As an old school Zoo player and as a lover of the Warlock class in general, it's a big hit. I mean, it's literally run 2 of in Handlock, 2 of in Zoo, and 1 of in Reno Lock. And it's one of those cards that it can be completely oppressive if not treated correctly. And it's one of those, when they brought in Dark Peddler, I would almost said to the point, let's quote unquote nerf Power Overwhelming to 0 mana so we never get off Peddler again. So
wow, that's I don't know about nerf, but
but the fact that this is a huge combo card leaving. So the fact that I think I'm glad it's going to Wild because I play a ton of Wild, so I'm glad it's going there so I can still play with it. And glad they're not nerfing it to heck as well. But yeah, this is a huge board control tool for Zoo and a good combo tool for Reno Lock that is just gone.
Yeah. All right. Zerotio, what are your thoughts?
This is pretty much the only card that made Sergeant Sally playable. Everybody that loved that combo, that's pretty much going to be gone now. This is going to cripple the current version of Hand/Reno Lock. Of course, Reno going is going to cripple it as well. So I don't know what. I really am at a loss. There's the new is a Demon Fire Potion that gives a +3, and then it's 3/3 if it's a demon.
That's good.
It's about the closest you got to this effect, and so I was really taken aback, not just from this card, but all of the class cards that are going out, which we'll talk about. I didn't expect these to be on the list. I kind of like it because it gives them more design space.
Well, let me put on my Versika hat here for a minute. All right, so those of you who listen to the show regularly know Versika's stance on aggro. And this card, them taking this card, is basically, as he says in chat, targeting Zoolock for the onset of the new expansion to help keep that aggro meta in check once the new set hits. They don't want a repeat of the Pirates. I don't feel like they want a repeat of the Pirate scenario that we have going on now, where you're either playing the Pirate package or you lose.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to do that, they need to find a way to put aggro in check. And by removing this card, it kind of helps do that. And going forward, we'll see, what they can do to help keep that in check. But that's a big step towards moving in that direction. Okay. The next card, and again, for long-time listeners of the show, you've heard me harp on Freeze Mage, how that almost entire deck is classic, minus a few tweaks, so that deck would perpetually be here forever, took a hit this week with the removal of Ice Lance. Now, you may say, it's a 1-mana card that only works if somebody's frozen. Yes, but that's 2 mana, 8 damage. So it takes a big chunk of Freeze Mage's burst damage away and gives them some design space to maybe move forward. Now, is this going to kill Freeze Mage? Probably not. I mean,
no, it's not.
They may come up with something to replace it that gives them viability, but we'll have to wait and see. Mattatarms, since you were shaking your head yes, I want to start with you and get your thoughts on Freeze Mage.
So Freeze Mage in Standard is losing Ice Lance, Forgotten Torch, Emperor Thaurissan. Basically, what Benbro did when he took this card into Wild is take the deck out and finally and shoot it in the head in the backyard. It's the basically, yeah, like there's Ice Lance was only used in Freeze Mage. That's the only time the card was used. It'd either be the classic, draw your whole deck and burn Freeze Mage, or the more aggro one with the Murlocs in it. That's the only two places that card was used, and occasionally me homebrewing with Demented Frostcaller, but that's me being stupid.
Yes.
But so that there is the card. There's no basically they're removing that whole combo archetype from Mage now. There's no the only time you can get a combo off of Mage now is coin Burglary. Get your coins from Burglary Bully and drop down Archmage and coin out a bunch of fireballs.
As of right now.
As of right now, and he also talked about in this rotating other cards that we might be rotating out into Standard at some point, not this upcoming, but cards like Shatter replacing it, which is a terrible card, but we'll talk about that later. So, and I kind of I'm not much of a combo player. I kind of suck at combo decks to begin with, but the fact that they're kind of removing this whole element from the game is kind of concerning, and I'm kind of wondering what they're going to bring in with Ungoro in the next 2 expansions to replace it. So
okay, all right, Zerotio.
I'm excited for this. I think we're going to see the capabilities of Mage come back. Maybe not in Ungoro, but possibly in the next set that might have something to do with Dalaran or the Kirin Tor. Just my thoughts, my speculations. I could see maybe Priest took a bad hit. They got bumped up in Mean Streets. Hunter's taking a bad hit. It's speculated there's going to be a lot of beast synergies in Ungoro. You might see with the next set coming out, Mage take the bottom rung again and then be moved back up into a more competitive spot in the second set that comes this year. So it just may be that rotation. There always has to be a bad class, and there always has to be the best class. It's just how it works. Now, trying to make sure those are as close as possible is the trick, and I think they're doing it right by nerfing a little bit of the control, nerfing a little bit of the aggro to kind of push them in line so that mid-range decks can be competitive and tempo decks can be competitive. So I'm excited to see what these changes do to the meta.
Okay, awesome. So that brings us to the last card that's being moved out of Standard into Wild, and that is Conceal. Now, I can't tell you I've met anybody who is upset with seeing this card leave.
I need a party hat and streamers and confetti.
So, once again, the guy who just said he's not good with combo decks raises his hand that he's sad to see this card leave. So,
no.
Oh, you're not.
He's waving
You're
You're
waving by. Okay, good. Yeah, I've not met anybody that's sad to see this card go. Basically, Stealth is extremely powerful, and there's no way to counter it, and your only hope is to draw AoE damage to deal damage to the minions that are stealthed. There's just no answer to it other than that. And so
Devolve.
That's about it.
Yeah, but now, when somebody plays an Auctioneer and then conceals it, it's just hard to get rid of it, and they're just going to get that draw engine going. So if you look at it, I feel like Auctioneer is the stronger card, but I think Conceal is an acceptable solution to this.
Yeah.
Zerotio, we'll start with you this time. What are your thoughts on Conceal?
I think Master of Disguise is going to rotate in, because in a lot of these cases, the Conceal is used to conceal the Auctioneer, not necessarily the Questings and the Edwins. One big way to deal with this is Sergeant Sally in Power Overwhelming. Wait. What? Oh, sorry. Too soon?
Shadow Flame.
Shadow Flame works. There are ways to deal with it. Devolve. obviously you're Twisting Nethers and Doom, which doesn't have play right now. But it was real crippling. It was just, you see that conceal hit and you go, next turn I'm just getting blown up. There's nothing I can do about it. So I like that they're doing this. I do expect Master of Disguise to possibly come in for maybe a combo where you auctioneer Master of Disguise and then set up your next turn.
All right. So Mattatarms?
I think when you see me no more, said it best in chat. Conceal. Don't feel. Just let it go.
Let it go.
The card just needs to go. I'm not a fan. As one who played a ton of Rogue in the last couple seasons, I'm just not a fan of the card, even as a Rogue player. It's just, and there are miracle decks that will survive without Conceal.
Yes.
It's going to be a little more minion based, but that's fine. And actually, the bigger shock to me was the fact they rotated out Conceal and not Gazix Auctioneer.
Yeah, because they had talked about the possibility of Auctioneer being rotated out.
I think Auctioneer was possibly top of their list until Druid started using it, and it became so effective in Druid, but you could deal with it in Druid because it didn't have Conceal. So maybe they thought, hey, people are playing it in Druid and it's doing well, but at the same time, if the opponent has an answer for a 4/4, it doesn't have the impact that it does when it's concealed. And so that maybe that changed their frame of mind and said that the problem is not Auctioneer, it's the fact that Auctioneer's concealed, or Auctioneer can pull out this huge Edwin or whatever and then conceal it. Where in the case of Druid, Auctioneer pulls out a bunch of Jades, you can still trade into those, target them, and lessen the impact. So I think this is a good choice.
Okay. All right. Chat's having a pretty good discussion. They're saying, Versika says, he feels like Blizzard wanted Jade Druid to be good. And NDC and chat says, well, don't worry, it will be now. Cry face. And Dano says, Druid Auctioneer kind of feels mindless compared to Rogue Auctioneer, which, I agree. Yeah, I could see that. You're just cycling.
Jade Druid, it's autopilot. Jade Druid's pretty much an autopilot deck.
It really is.
And right now, since the change of the Druid combo, Druid is a mindless class. And I know there's going to be people out there that argue that it was mindless. Anybody could do, Force of Nature, Savage Roar combo. But in truth, you had to manage the board up to then. You had to manage when to use your removal, make sure there weren't any taunts, things like that. It took a little bit of thought, and I was a big combo Druid player. But since they've kind of gotten rid of that and they've tried to redefine Druid, Beast Druid takes a lot of thought, but all the pieces aren't there yet. And this Jade Druid with Auctioneer and Malygos, and especially with the Kuhn Aviana combo, it's mindless. The cards just write themselves.
Yeah. So those are the big 6 cards that are rotating out. Now, if you've not heard, don't dust them, because Blizzard is going to give you that dust anyway. And if you have golden versions of those cards, you will get dust equivalent to the golden version, not the regular version. So they want you to keep those cards for playing Wild.
To clarify that, you will get dust for the cards you have up to how many go in your deck.
Right. So if you've got 2 golden Azure Drakes, you'll get 1,600 dust, 800.
But if you get, is that right? No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are they 800 for golden?
Golden rares are 800.
Oh, that's right. But if you have a golden and a non-golden or 2 non-goldens, you get the value for a golden and a non-golden. And it's
Correct.
Up to 2 for all the cards except for Ragnaros and Sylvanas. You just get dust for one of them.
Yeah. So hold on to your cards. Play them in Wild. That's what Blizzard wants us to do. All right. The next thing they announced...
Or get the dust and then dust them anyway.
Or get the dust and dust, yeah. So the other thing Blizzard announced with this Year of the Mammoth is expansions. No more adventures. We're now going to get 3 expansions a year. about 130 cards per expansion. So
Yep.
roughly 390 cards a year. And this is going to be huge as for an influx of new stuff into the meta. This is going to really help keep things moving. I think it's going to help prevent that stale feeling.
Yes.
And they said that for those of you who really enjoyed the adventures, don't worry. While the cards are all going to be acquired via booster packs, each expansion will have optional single-player missions that will help develop the thematic narratives of the expansions. So you'll still be able to play, against the AI for fun. It's just now you won't get those cards with just by completing the missions. You actually have to get them out of booster packs. So, what are your thoughts on 3 expansions a year and adventures being rolled in Mattatarms?
So a lot of the uproar in the quote-unquote Reddit community was the fact that, they're getting rid of the adventures. This is terrible for new players. I think it's actually better for newer players because the big hurdle on my free-to-play accounts is getting the 3,500 or gold for those adventures to get those 3 or 4 cards in the final wings that make my deck go. So instead of spending that 3,500 gold on 45 cards, we can pay that 3,500 gold on 35 packs and dust the garbage that you don't want and craft the cards you need and make your life easier. I think it's a fantastic move. It actually is great for new players, and it's one of those things where I'm glad we're going to have a much bigger content blocks and more storylines in these expansions. I just can't wait to see what they're going to come up with in the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, and those doing the math out there, that's 175 cards you would get for 3,500 gold. That's 35 packs of 5 cards a pack. To me, I've heard the argument of, I won't be able to just drop my $20 and get my 40-some packs. I'm like, well, drop your $20 and get more cards than you would out of packs. So I like this. I will say the one thing I'm going to miss is the wonderful race to see how fast comparatively to the community that I can get the heroic card back. That's one thing that's always been fun to me, is trying to find time when they're doing these wing releases to post in Discord and post online how quickly I can get the heroic card back. Doing the videos for our patrons of doing the heroic content. I'm going to miss that. I hope in the storylines, they maybe have 2 difficulties. That would satisfy me as more of a hardcore competitive player, allowing me to not just go in and do the content, but then kick it up a notch and maybe get a reward afterwards. But other than that, I like this. I mean, it's really going to be good for esports. Every season, winter, spring, summer, and last calls and all that, you're going to have fresher, big batches of cards to affect the meta instead of one big rollout. The meta goes crazy. Then we get a little 45 card trickle.
Yeah.
Like you see maybe 3 or 4 cards from the adventure in the esports. It starts getting boring. We're seeing the same decks, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get a whole nother 130 card set. Everything flips on its heels. This is going to be better for Hearthstone esports, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited about more cards. A lot of people are upset, saying Blizzard's just doing this to get more money, but well, of course they are. They're a business, but it's going to be better for the game in the long term. So
yeah, and that's a touchy subject that it drives me nuts when I hear people say, well, they're just out to make money. Of course they're out to make money. When they price up, when the price goes up on gasoline, and when the price goes up on your favorite pair of jeans over at Walmart, they're in it for the money. They're a company, they're a business, they got to stay in business. But Blizzard has gone out of their way to do for the community more than any other gaming company, or in my opinion, just about any other company in the United States. So so what if they're making money off that? That's their number one goal. But if they can do that and make the community happy, which I believe they've done, then I think they're a great company, and I love what they're doing.
And who is to say that they're not going to, in the single player adventures, that they're not going to give us packs in those adventures as well?
Yeah, they do that.
You know,
Maybe they still do. If you finish the single player adventures on Heroic, you still get card backs.
Exactly.
Maybe, we don't know. Well, we'll find out.
We'll find out. We'll find out here with the second expansion. And
every time, and if you look at it, whenever they do a large set rollout, you tend to get pack over pack over pack. 3 packs if you play 3 games, another 3 packs for this, and 5 packs for this. But then when they do the adventure modes, you basically, you can get a cheaper cost for the adventure if you buy it ahead of time, but you don't get any extra incentive because there are no extra cards other than what's in the adventure mode. So in the long run, I think you're going to see people getting more out of this. Plus, to Mattatarms' point, is if you're a newer player and you have to grind your 700 gold to open up a wing, basically you're grinding that 700 gold to get what ends up being like 7 to 9 cards.
Yeah, like
maybe 12.
Maybe like 10 cards, about 3 of which are playable.
Yeah, but as a new player, I can just grind gold every day and probably end up getting a pack every day or maybe 2 days. Mm-hmm. I think I ended up, when I just was casually playing, I was getting 2 packs every 3 days by just doing my dailies. So in the long run, you're going to get more cards. Of course, you're going to see duplicates, but that turns into dust and you can craft the cards you need. So I think this is going to be better for the players. They just don't know it yet.
Right. All right. So the other thing, we've got 2 other real big things to talk about. One, they're bringing in daily login rewards. So they've said right before the release of the next expansion, they're going to do a flurry of activity, which includes daily login rewards, which could be dust, gold, new expansion packs. We'll have to wait and see what they have planned, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, they're giving us a new hero. It's our first alternate rogue hero, and it's Maeve Shadowsong.
Yeah, and you said it right.
You get her for free just for playing 10 or winning 10 games of Hearthstone in standard or casual mode. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
And then last, but what I consider to be the most important, is they're talking about some new changes to the fireside gatherings. Now, those of you who are familiar know I'm an innkeeper. Versika's becoming an innkeeper. And Zerotio opted to remain on the player side of things so he could compete instead of being an innkeeper. So I love putting on fireside gatherings for players. I love to see people come together, talk about Hearthstone, and compete for fun. Those of you know I went to Blizzard headquarters last July and got to see some of this stuff they have planned for the Fireside Gatherings program. And while I am still under NDA and can't talk about it, I can tell you it's going to be awesome. So if you guys go to your local Fireside Gatherings, it's going to be a great year for Hearthstone. And there's some really awesome stuff coming down the pipeline. So, all right, that's going to do it for that.
Quick question, and I don't want to drag us out too long. Did we even have a chance to talk about the nerfs to? Did it come out before show last week? The nerfs to Full-Time Buccaneer.
A week before that, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
So we did talk about it. So we did talk about the breakpoints and the ladder. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if our schedules are off. So okay, we're good.
All right. So Tuesday at 11 a.m. Pacific.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Central, and 2 p.m. Eastern. We are going to have a live dev Q&A all about Year of the Mammoth.
Yes.
Now, whether or not we get any information we don't already know, we'll have to wait and see. But I believe it's going to be Ben Brode and Dean Ayala again. I mean, they make such a cute couple. I loved all the memes.
Yes,
I loved all the memes that came out of the last developer Q&A. Find someone that looks at you the way Dean looks at Ben.
Mhm.
It's funny. This Q&A on Hearthstone was advertised with the silhouette in the background of Dean on Ben Brode's shoulder. So it's not been forgotten.
Yeah. So make sure you tune in to the twitch.tv/play Hearthstone channel tomorrow morning or afternoon, depending on your time zone, and should get some awesome news. All right, that brings us to our final topic of the night, NA Winter Playoffs.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
We're gonna touch on this pretty quickly because we're running a little long. The playoffs for this past weekend, we got to host one of the playoff locations here in Knoxville. We unfortunately did not have any players this time, like we've had in the past. So we got to focus on firesides and watch the tournament all weekend. And there was some awesome matches this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The final four going to the Bahamas to represent North America are Teray, Frozen, Doc Pone, and Dr. Jinkaniki. So, don't worry. I've been watching and learning and reading about how to pronounce this.
Maybe you can teach Cora.
I think Cora's got it. It's Frodan who can't do it. Frodan's just like, I'm going to call him Dr. J because that's the easy way out.
There you go.
But we got to see some great play. Amnesiac did make top 8. I mean, don't sell him short because he didn't make it. He played a great weekend. But he got really unlucky and got matched up against Frozen in the round of 8, and Frozen eliminated him.
Believe in the power of water.
Yes, believe in the power of the water warrior.
I do want to remind everybody, though, if you didn't watch it, Amnesiac and Frozen faced in the Swiss rounds, and it was very close, but Amnesiac pulled that series 3-2. So this wasn't as if Frozen had Amnesiac's number. Amnesiac played really well. He just came up short against Frozen. What's really cool is they were both in the Fairfax venue. So they actually had some camera shots of them doing a little pre-match stare down before the top 8.
Nice.
That was pretty cool. Now, there's been a lot of drama surrounding Amnesiac, and I wanted to see how this was going to affect him. And on Twitter, he's been nothing but sportsman about it. You know, he had called out Pavel saying he was going to get him into Bahamas. Well, now he's not going to the Bahamas. So I think he's been very sportsman about it. I'm excited for the chance for him and Pavel to duke it out. But if Pavel ends up qualifying for the World Championships in the Bahamas, then you're not going to be able to see that matchup until that time if Amnesiac qualifies.
Yeah. So it may be a while. Although, I do want to point out that he may not be the hero we want, but he may be the hero we need. Firebat has offered to cast and produce a match between Amnesiac and Pavel if the players are willing to do it.
Where's the Kickstarter? Take my money.
Right?
Just don't let Amaz run it.
What does Pavel have to gain doing that? Really, like all Pavel has is up on top, and all he can do is lose that.
Yeah.
Versus
Well, here's the thing.
kid.
I think if it was done properly and they maybe open it up for a charity scrimmage, kind of like the all Apollo versus Drago charity scrimmage. Wait, maybe not quite that one, but anyways,
Nobody needs to die.
But yeah, they could make money. They could either pay both players, or they could give the money to charity. There's lots of options. It could be a good match.
I think if they did a Kickstarter for it with a reasonable amount, it would meet its goal quickly.
So, all right. But yeah, so our finals for NA playoffs saw two relatively unknown players in Doc Pone and Dr. Jikanicki go up against each other, which Cora had a field day with, saying, both the doctors are in the finals. We get to see, which one is the better physician. And I mean, she had the puns going all day long. But
I just wanted to see them both be like doctor, 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 doctor.
Yeah. So Doc Pone went into this 9-0. He actually beat Dr. Jikanicki in the sixth round of Swiss.
That sounds right to me. Doc Pone was just on fire.
Dominant.
Nobody could figure out what he was doing. It wasn't that he brought any really crazy decks. He just played superbly.
Yeah. And so this was a rematch for both players. And this time, Dr. Jikanicki actually came out and took the win. I think it was 3-1 was the final, and became our North America winner playoff champion. This is huge. It's always great to see unknown players come in and win these things, but he did it really hard because his lineup, he beat Frozen, he beat Amnesiac, he beat I want to say he played Muzzy as well. Like I think he played Ray C. He played a lot of big name players.
What's amazing in this whole thing, between Dr. Jikanicki and Doc Pone, the only people they lost to were each other.
Yeah.
Nobody else beat each other in the entire tournament. So both of them have qualified to go on to the Bahamas. So this may be another Doctor versus Doctor grudge match down at the Winter World Championships.
Yeah. It's too bad Dr. Hippie's not there.
Right?
Doctor.
It could just be a medical clinic down there. All right. Well, we don't have a Tavern Brawl to talk about this week, so we're going to jump right into this week's deck. So for those of you who don't listen regularly, each week we take a different class and we feature a deck you may see in the meta. We've done 8 of 9 classes this cycle.
We're stuck with Hunter.
Our last class is a Hunter. So this week we're going to talk about Aggro Hunter. Now, I'm going to give a quick rundown of this deck, and then I'm going to let Zerotio and Mattatarms kind of talk about it. My voice is starting to go. So we've got 2 alley cats, 1 fiery bat, 2 on the hunt, 1 tracking, 2 explosive traps, 2 kindly grandmothers, 2 knife jugglers, 2 quick shots, 2 scavenging hyenas, 2 animal companions, 2 argent horse riders, 2 eagle horn bow, 2 kill command, 2 rat pack, 2 unleash the hounds, 1 dispatch Kodo, and Leroy Jenkins. All right, Zerotio, take it away.
Really, I'm not a huge Hunter player. This does remind me a lot of the early aggro, basically board swarm, kind of back when death rattles were really big in the meta. I like it a lot, but I really want to see what Mattatarm has to say about it, because he brings it when he plays Hunter. So what's your thoughts on this deck?
I kind of like the way this deck is going. There's a couple things I would change. Mainly, and I'm going to put on my First Secret Mad Scientist hat here. There's a lot of the Karazhan cards aren't great for Hunter, even though they're fantastic cards. Like Rat Pack is really a disappointing card. It should be amazing, but it's not. And a couple changes I would make. I would actually throw away, let's see here, probably the Knife Juggler, and put in the 1-drop beast that buffs other beasts for Hunter. Because if you pop Rat Pack with that on the board, you get 3 rats.
Yeah.
Same with Dispatch Kodo. If you drop that Dispatch Kodo with that on the board, it does 3 damage. So there's a lot of synergies in Hunter that are kind of like halfway there. I love the Scavenging Hyena in this deck, and and the fact that there is scavenging hyena, I would probably throw in a tundra rhino in there, just for the charge combos and fun, and just for fun. But it's a pretty decent list. Then again, it doesn't have Finja, and all good lists need Finja.
We were talking before the show that Zalay last night was playing Water Hunter with the full Murloc package and Finja, and he was playing
and pirates.
Yeah.
Didn't he have pirates in there too?
I don't think he did.
Yeah. No, he has South Sea, 2 South Seas and patches.
Okay, yeah. So he did have patches.
That's the new water package. Is the pirates and Murlocs.
Gotcha. All right. So I'm ready to play this deck. I'm going to be driving tonight, but Zerotio and Mattatarms will probably be making most of the decisions. So we'll see how we can do. We're going to try to win 2 out of 3 with it. Any last thoughts?
I'll be excited.
Yeah. Any last thoughts before we move on? Zerotio, we'll start with you.
Esports is on the rise. The standards about to change. A lot of your pros are taking some back seats. They're not grinding the ladder like they used to. Most of them are still sitting around rank 5. They're waiting for this to happen. So Hearthstone is going to be at its peak when the next set comes out. It's going to be exciting to watch these streamers. It's going to be exciting to watch esports. I'm ready for it.
Mattatarms?
I just want to kind of give a shout out to the guys from the Dill's Slack channel who made it out here tonight, and a bunch of everybody else. I'm excited for Ungoro. I'm excited for New Standard. I'm excited for Wild. The fact that all these cards are rotating to Wild, and Reno Jackson's rotating to Wild, so the meta will be completely different, and it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how things change. Versika says, rumor is Hunter's going to get a much-needed boost. Beasts, lots of beasts, says Dano. So we're going to have lots of fun when the new expansion comes out. All right, that's going to do it. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via our audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us at this time. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOgamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you do enjoy the show, you want to help to support and improve it, you can do so by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
All right. Well, while we set up to play best 2 out of 3, Zerotio, tell us a little more about our friends at Viforce.
So, long story short, I told you guys about getting the computer, walking through all the steps, and how painless it has been. They've pretty much, Viforce Gaming has pretty much walked me through all the way through, from purchasing, picking out my stuff, paying for it, and even bringing it to me or having it shipped in most cases. It's been painless. The best part has been how happy it has made my wife. She has been very full of smiles today. We went out and had a nice lunch while everything was patching on her computer. She's been nothing but appreciative for it. And anything that brings a smile to my wife's face is definitely worth every penny. And I didn't have to spend that much. The prices compared to other custom gaming companies was way lower, and the customer service was much higher. I have gone through other companies in the past, and to be honest, I was skeptical going with a company I never dealt with before. They've been a great sponsor of the show, but I will not buy another custom computer from another company, and I'm ready to start the process of buying my computer for DreamHack this summer, July 21st to 23rd in Atlanta, Georgia. So get your computer over at ViforceGaming.com or go to HeroPowerHS.com, click on the Viforce link, and get your computer today. It's definitely worth it.
All right, let's get this show on the road. Let me know once you are... Or wait, I'm driving.
You're driving.
Never mind. I'm so used to everybody else driving. All right.
Are you in wild or are you going standard?
I'm going standard.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I've been playing mostly wild when I do get a chance to play this month. So my wild
Just check, 'cause
rank
you had
is,
the
or my,
vines.
my standard rank is
Yeah.
not great. So I'm not playing a lot
You
of
had
standard.
the vines. I just wanted to double check.
Yeah.
Wild's the place to be, man. Wild's awesome.
All
I
right.
just can't do it.
So we've got Rogue up first, and our opening hand is Hyena, Tracking, and Knife Juggler. What do you guys think?
I'm thinking toss everything back but the tracking for now.
Now, see, I'm kind of the opposite. I like having my tracking more mid game, but I could see that. I mean, if you're going for your one drops, then that's probably the best thing to do.
Well, Dano in chat says Matt is great for random. So we're going to go with Matt's suggestion. Toss everything back but the tracking.
Dano feels my pain. I can't do wild either.
Perfect.
I think I will. I will eventually, but it's not right now.
All right, so out of the gate,
Oh, I
with
love this
Fiery
curve.
Bat.
Yes, sir.
Wow, we are taking on a Pokemon master.
See, the nice thing about Fiery Bat, if he does small time, we can trade right into it. Or he's just going to backstab it.
Backstab it and take damage anyway.
That's really good value for us for the backstab. There's so many good backstab targets here.
So just
I'm thinking-
Hero Power
Yeah.
Pass.
Just hit the button. That's what I'm thinking.
That's right. Hit the button. What does this button do?
I think next turn, if he drops something, we do the bow. Yep, there we go.
All right. So we're playing a Cthulhu Rogue.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna
Yeah.
Eagle Horn Bow.
Yeah,
I still like the bow here.
and just chop that down and just keep the board clear for now.
And especially about Cthulhu, they're not going to flood the board. They're probably just going to put one or two power minions. I
the only thing
expect the blood floor.
The only thing I'm worried about is
Board
turn
flood.
7. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is
Yeah.
turn 7 if he's got a 10-10 Cthulhu.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That could be a problem.
Now we can start getting to work.
I'm actually thinking tracking first.
Okay.
See what we thin out our deck a little bit. And probably keep the Animal Companion and play it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
You
hopefully
kind of want to pair that rat pack.
Yeah. So if we get Lee off, the Rat Pack will be amazing. But Misha's really good too.
Okay.
I hold the charge, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Just end turn.
We only have 2 secrets, so it's not gonna be a great blow, so
And we do have a second bow, though, don't we?
yeah. Okay.
Oh, so he just cycled his fan. We
I'm
drew
thinking
a
rat.
second quick shot.
Thinking Rat Pack hit the button.
I like it. Good on curve.
Keep the yeah.
I don't like having 2 quick shots in our hand, but
That's The thing with Hunter, like especially with Aggro Hunter, you want to be hitting that button every turn,
Oh wow!
especially
This
as.
is-
Go ahead.
On the Hunt is great for Cthulhu's Chosen because ooh,
So
we
Knife
go.
Juggler on the hunt, and then on the hunt to keep below the shield, and then just run the Rat Pack in.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, and just send everything face.
not sure if we necessarily. I guess
You know
that's-
what? Leave it. Just send the 2/2 and the 4/3 to face and hit the button. Because we need to push.
Yeah, because we're not really worried about the 4-1.
Yeah, the 4/1's going to trade in the 4/3 if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, as we like
I think
to say,
it might have
don't
been-
forget to use your hero power.
Yes. There's a few different ways to take that line. I think that was the best one though.
And if he knocks out the Rat Pack, okay.
We got Machine Gun Harry. What?
What is Cold Blood?
No. That's the only thing you could have targeted it with, though.
Yeah.
Cold Blood. What?
Well, he's gonna use the chosen. He's got to
What?
conceal. He's gonna conceal.
Okay, that's fine. We just send Leroy to face and Quickshot to face and call it a day.
Yep. Oh no, he's going for the
Edwin,
big Van
okay.
Cleef.
Okay, that makes sense. So hold on a second. Do we got lethal?
2, 4, 10.
Oh, he
13.
shadow stepped him, and he can't cast him. He messed up. He doesn't
Yeah.
have a mana.
He better conceal. He can just conceal.
He's BMing. He's
nice.
BMing.
Yeah.
He's still dead.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still dead.
Yeah,
We have
Leroy.
more than enough.
Leroy, Quickshot, everything face.
Yep, we got this. There we go.
Could have shot your own face and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Throwing him
shut your
down.
own face. Yeah, Aggro Hunter's back, folks.
That's right.
That was
Do
pretty
we
good.
trade?
Turn 7.
nope.
Nope.
Go face.
Yep.
Yep. See, the deck's easy. What are you talking about?
That's
good.
right.
That's pretty good. I mean,
Just queue in the Cthulhu.
yeah, Cthulhu Edwin Rogue. Yeah, that was an amalgam deck.
Well-
Right now, amalgam decks don't work unless
Rogue-
you're
Rogue-
Water Warrior.
Well, Rogue's still a pretty decent matchup for Hunter because you can just keep pushing.
All right, so here we've
They
got
don't have taunts.
Priest. Our opening hand is Fiery Bat, Unleash the Hounds, Dispatch Kodo.
Toss the Unleash and Dispatch, I think.
Yeah, keep the Fiery Bat. It's almost an auto keep. To be honest, 1 health minions are kind of hard for Priest to get rid of in the first couple turns.
So we
Unless
go
they wanna
into
waste-
Explosive Trap, Scavenging Hyena, and Rat Pack. We're going to just start with the Fiery Bat.
Yeah. And I'm thinking Hero Power next turn. Or Explosive Trap, depending on when he drops.
Well, if he puts anything out that that we can trade with the Fiery Bat, or even like a 1/3, then the Scavenging Hyena becomes a 4/3 and can't be pained or deathed.
True. Okay.
But he doesn't do that.
I'm just thinking probably just Knife Juggler here. So I want to keep the pressure up.
That still sounds good to me. I like it.
We still thinking just play the curve and next turn Rat Pack?
Yeah.
Depending what he puts out. Oh,
Okay.
smart.
What do we get? Yeah, Rat Pack here.
Oh, this is even better. Rat Pack into our second Knife Juggler if he puts anything out.
Yeah.
We get Knife Juggler and Scavenging Hyena if he puts out something. Not gonna
Man.
put out anything.
I thought this was the turn 2 play. What are you talking about? What's he healing
What's
face
going
for?
on here?
What am I thinking? Definitely Hero Power.
Do we go ahead and pop an Explosive Trap for the possibility of drawing into bow?
Yeah, might as well. Because I don't like any other 2 plays.
Maybe make him worry that it's snipe, because that is in the meta right now.
Or freezing, yeah. Ooh, there we go.
Ooh, so do we dispatch Kodo here, or do we Knife Juggler and possibly we'd have to hit one of our knives?
Drop the Juggler and the Hyena,
That's what I was thinking.
and then throw in the Rack Pat, the 2/2,
Oh, perfect.
and we get 2 juggles to the face.
And our Hyena is a 4/3. That's kind of the more important part to me.
Probably another
Another
Potion of Madness. What's good news is not Reno then. It
Yeah,
might be a pain. It might be a pain.
could be a pain. Such a pain.
That's what.
Oh,
Songs to-
Silence.
Oh, silence.
Okay.
Okay.
Um.
Well, if we dispatch Kodo and hit that 5/5 for 2, We might get a lucky juggle.
This is a Reno deck. If he's playing Song Slayer, he's a Reno deck. So I'm thinking we just try to race and hope he doesn't have Reno at this point.
Okay.
So take that damage to face, hero power, and just go face?
Yeah, just smork it up here.
Okay.
That's my line, at least. Because now we have Leroy coming in, and we have Leroy next turn too. And if he doesn't clear anything, okay.
He's not putting any taunts up. This doesn't seem to be the dragon package of Reno though.
No, this just feels like straight Reno.
So
5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, definitely bow. And just
face it up.
Face it up. Yeah. Man, this is going a lot better than the last time I played a Hunter deck on this show.
Yeah. Too soon, man.
Only 40 some episodes later.
Wow, we pretty much. Reno's the only thing.
Yeah, his only out is Reno at this point.
Do you think he did that because he plans to Reno this turn?
I don't know. I can't. That's it. We win.
Yeah, we win.
Even if he drops
Leroy.
Yeah. Yep. There we go.
I don't understand him going to face there if he didn't have Reno. I don't understand that at all.
All right, there it is. 2-0, guys. Just like that. What? 15 minutes?
It's Hunter. Quick games.
Cancer Hunter is back.
Yeah. Face Hunter never really dies. It just evolves.
No, that's Shaman.
If you guys are looking for a way to play Hunter on the ladder, just grab this list. It'll be posted on our website tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern.
And that website is heropowerhs.com.
That's right. Go have fun with it. All right. I think that will about do it for us this week. You guys have any last minute things you want to talk about before we wrap up? Zerotio?
Get ready for the big Q&A tomorrow. I think there's going to be lots of news. I'm kind of sad we had to move our show. Of course, couldn't be helped. We can't do this show unless we make our wives happy, and we had to move the show to make our wives happy, and I agree with that. But we're going to have some big news to talk about next week. So get ready. Hang on to your seats because it's going to be a wild ride.
All right. Mattatarms, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I can't wait for tomorrow. I don't know if I'll be as active in the Discord tomorrow since I can't get Twitch at work. But I'll be looking forward to seeing what happens. But if you actually guys want to follow my work, Victor Sanctum podcast, I do a quick segment talking about Hearthstone and my thoughts on the meta and everything going on, and my love for Finja, the Flying Star. But other than that, yeah.
Follow
and
go ahead.
Mattatarms mentioned it. He's extremely active in our Discord. We have a special Discord just for our patrons. All you have to do is, I think it's a minimum $1 a month patron, and you can be part of our community, get part of our Facebook group, and more importantly, the Discord group. And we are always in there. Mattatarms is always putting in content, news. Even when he says he can't, if he says he can't really post much because of his work schedule, that usually means he's only going to post maybe 30 or 40 instead of like 100 or 120 posts. So
that's right.
He's always very active, as well as the rest of our community. We have one of the most active Discords that I've been in, and ours is fairly exclusive.
Yeah, I'll find the Reddit thread that has like all the important information, and then I'll probably post it in there.
There you go. So, yeah, come hang out with us if you're interested. That's patreon.com/Hero Power. All right, that's going to do it. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you've not done so already, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more details, check out, like I just said, our Patreon at patreon.com/Hero Power. Guys, until next time, good gaming.
Bye-bye. No more Sylvanas.
Bye, insect.